Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. A little truck talk with you. This may resonate with a lot of you, but some of you may not like this message. And I'm not going to apologize. It is what it is. I believe the Most High has, this is the direction that I need to talk about today. Last night, we did our live stream that my wife and I do all the time on Saturday evenings. And in that, I said something that I've said multiple times. I said, even if all of the outward collapse, noticeable collapse things, the economy, the dollar, inflation, the devaluation of our currency, the World War III type of stuff, food famine things that are cropping up, natural disasters or man-made or government-made disasters, all of these kind of things and more. If none of that was happening, if none of that was going on, and if everything was pretty normal, just the fact that we're watching the morality of our civilization completely and rapidly decline. To me, that's enough to know that we're in a collapse. And I believe that America in the West is done. And I understand that God in his almighty wisdom, he could cause a resurgence, a revival, all that. That's always possible, and I'm accepting of that. But the trajectory that we're going, America's done. America's done spiritually because we have embraced as a people, not me, not you, but as an American, as a nation, we've embraced so much wickedness. We have normalized so much wickedness. We have pushed it officially that I don't see any other way that this nation can avoid the judgment and the wrath of the Almighty Creator. And that alone is something that we should take notice of and that we should be preparing. When I talk about spiritual preparedness, some of you know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about being ready for the wrath that is going to be upon us. In Romans chapter 1, it talks about how God gives them over to their own wickedness, to the people's wickedness. And I believe that that's where we're at. Yeshua talked about how that we will be persecuted in his name. And we're already seeing signs of that. We're watching how laws are being put into place that it's criminalized if you use the wrong pronoun or if you don't publicly identify that your child is this gender or that chosen whatever, that you can be criminalized. And they're calling it child abuse. They're not saying that this person's having their child taken away from them because, they believed in the Bible. No, they're saying that you're having your child taken away from you because you were abusive, you were hateful, and you were, some type of neglectful parent. This is how it's going to be. I think a lot of times, and what I'm about to say and what I've said so far, there is I have to confess, some of this idea doesn't just come from me. There was a video that I watched, it's about 12, 13, 14 years old, of a couple of preachers. I'll leave a link to that video below. You should definitely go watch it. It's not very long. It's not like a whole sermon. It was a kind of a round table discussion. And like I said, this is over a decade ago, and it sounds like they're talking about today. It's absolutely kind of blows your mind of what they're saying is going to happen. And it's happening right now as we speak, over a decade later. But one guy says that I think a lot of times as believers, and you could say patriots too, this works for both. We have this idea that if we become a martyr for this cause, that it will, we will go down in some kind of great glory, right? That we'll be, they'll arrest us and try us and imprison us or maybe even execute us because we held on to the this concept of freedom and liberty, or that we believed in God, and that we believed in Jesus and Yeshua, and we read the Bible to our children, and that's why we are being, and in that way, I think many of us in the back of our minds think that I understand that would be bad, that what I might have to go through, the level of persecution that, that I would have to do, but knowing that I'm doing it for this cause, for God's glory, for all of that, then I can accept that. But that's not what they're going to do, and that's not what they're doing now. In fact, into this modern world, as much as everything is becoming so godless and so antithetical to anything that is biblical truths, we see almost more and more acceptance of, Jesus. We hear this, the Christ within us, this little new age twist. I even saw a video the other day of this guy trying to make the argument that it's actually Satan that we are worshiping when we pray to God of the Bible and everything. It's actually Satan, and that we should call out to him. This evil perversion of the truth is becoming normal, to where it's somewhat popular to say, oh yeah, I believe in God. I believe, oh, Jesus, yes, Jesus, and or Jesus, Christ, I believe in him. That's normal, but it's a perversion of the truth. Just like Yeshua said, you call my name and I knew you not. And so it's not so much that we're going to become persecuted because we believe in liberty, because we believe in God, because we serve Yeshua. It's not that. We're going to be persecuted, and we're going to be called names, and we're going to be torn down because of lies that they spread, because we're perverted, because we're mentally insane, because we're a scourge upon the nation, because we're enemies of the state. We've been hearing about this radical patriotic extremism that we've been hearing from, DHS and other entities. And that's what they're going to do. And when I say that you need to get your house in order and spiritually prepare, it's not because you're going to stand up on that, stage one day with the noose around your neck, and all the people are going to be, saying, crucify him, hang him, or whatever, and you're standing there, yes, I'm doing this because I believe in God. They're going to be saying it because, this is a mentally insane person. This person abused their children. This person was evil. This person was sadistic. And we know that these things aren't true, but that's what they're going to accuse us of. This person was a child abuser because he didn't, acknowledge his child's pronouns, or give his daughter the testosterone pills that she wanted. All of this kind of stuff. This is what they're going to do. So when it comes down to the persecution that we are starting to see, it's beginning, okay? It's not going to be for some great cause that it makes it a little easier to swallow. It's going to be because we're a scourge upon society. We need to be, dealt with. I mean, and this is how genocides have been done all throughout history. They didn't take care of all these people because, we've got to genocide all these people because, they believe in freedom. How dare they believe in freedom? Because all of the other people are like, why are we killing people because they believe in freedom? No, they would make some ridiculous thing up. They're spreading some kind of disease, or they're evil, or they're perverted, or whatever, even though it was the ones that was doing the killing was the perverted ones. Kind of like today. This is what we're going to face, folks. They are going to come after us. At some point, it's already happening. We're already seeing it happen. We're seeing it happen whether you're pro-life or pro-gun, or, people that go to the school board meeting to say, we don't want you to put all these dirty pictures and this pornographic material in our child's face. Oh, you're bad. You're bad. We're going to have the FBI investigate you and tear down the door of your front door of your house because you don't want us to teach your children, this enlightening and educational material. This is what they're going to do. They're going to destroy us in that way, not in a way that you think might happen. It's not going to be, in the news that they arrested Travis Maddox because he was so patriotic. They arrested Travis Maddox because he was trying to stand up against the man. No, it's they arrested Travis Maddox because he's some kind of pervert or some kind of mentally insane person, or he abuses his family. That's what it would happen. And we have to be prepared for that. We have to have the mental and the spiritual strength to endure that. Yeshua said that those that endure to the end will be saved. Endurance is not an easy thing. The word itself does not mean a comfortable journey to the end. Endurance means that you will bear hardships. And this is what they will do. The martyrs that's happened in the past, if you look throughout history, the believers in Jesus, they weren't martyred because they believed in him. They were martyred for some other reason. They were martyred, they were murdered because of, they were crazy, or, they committed some violation against the state, or because they were some pervert or something like that. That was the public charges. And that's going to make it a little bit harder for a lot of people to stand their ground and continue to speak the truth and believe in that and to not falter when that happens. And that's the world that we are embarking upon. I know this sounds extreme and horrible, but if you believe in the Bible at all, then that's what it tells us is going to happen. And it's happening more and more and more. The level of perversion that our society has embarked upon, it's the reprobate mind is what we're dealing with. And so many of them, there's nothing that we can do to turn them around. There's nothing that we can do to open their eyes. They have embraced the reprobate mind. They've embraced the perversion. They've embraced the wickedness and the darkness. And that's what they want. And this is what we're up against. We're not up against someone that doesn't particularly like our religion or is of a different denomination, or they just don't like our political affiliations. We're up against pure evilness, folks. And that's why we have to prepare. That's why we have to take it very serious. They will come at some of us with everything, and some of us are going to lose everything. We'll lose our homes, our property, maybe even our lives. And we have to be prepared for that. That's why I advocate getting away from the cities as much as possible. It is a perfectly planned out insurance that keeps you from falling into harm's way? Of course not. But if at the very, very, very least, you at least have the opportunity to see them coming from a further distance off. You know when they're starting to do it elsewhere that they're probably going to be a little bit longer before they get out to you. So it gives you at least that much time to prepare. And that's also why I encourage people to form groups and communities, because there's more strength than numbers. This is not a game that we're in, folks. This is very serious. And I think that over the next few years, that we will start to see more and more of this. We're already starting to see it in other countries where people are being arrested and thrown into jail because they use the improper pronoun, or they, say someone is gay or something like that. It's coming to here eventually. Even in the last few years, how many preachers were thrown in prison that stood up against the lockdowns, that said, you know what? No, I answer to a higher calling. My church is going to be open. And that they were thrown in prison. We're not that far away, folks. I don't have a timeline or a calendar to tell you the details of when. But I can see the signs that are happening around us. That's why the Bible has all of these signs that we look for. We may not know the day or the hour, but we can certainly know the season. And I truly believe that we are in the season of watching the judgment and the wrath of God pour out upon this people because of the wickedness. The millions and millions of children lives have been taken over the last several decades. And now, the potential for millions and millions of children being so perverted and their minds and their souls being taken because of what this government and what this nation is doing officially. Sure, I still consider myself a patriot, but it's not to this government or even to this land. It's to this idea of freedom. And we have to wake up and realize that as believers, that we are in the crosshairs. We are in the crosshairs, and as things continue to ramp up and as the evilness continues to spread in this world, you better be tough, and you better be ready, and you better have a solid foundation, because they're going to come at you mentally and spiritually. And the stuff that they're going to come at you and your family spiritually may be more than the average believer can even take. And I think that's why in the Bible it talks about that even the elect could be led astray. It's going to be that bad. So, folks, you need to be taking it serious and getting your houses in order. We have to consider ourselves an enemy of the state, not just of the United States, but of this perverted new world that is upon us. We are the enemy, and we need to be realizing that and preparing ourselves for that, not just in a physical preparedness, whether it's living out, self-sufficient, stocking up, all that, but also the mental and the spiritual preparedness that comes along with it. You better be rock solid, because if not, they're going to wash you away. Folks, it's time to get your houses in order and to prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.